America! Land of the free, home of the brave. Patriotism and nationalism have always existed in tension, but today's intense polarization has made the boundaries between them far more contested. In a society increasingly shaped by ideological extremes, misinformation, and emotional political communication, Americans now disagree not only about the specific policies, but about the basic meaning of national loyalty itself. Now, this raises the question, how During my research, one consistent theme emerged, that the conversations between these two topics are politically charged. To avoid reinforcing these divides, my analysis relies heavily on academic as well as dictionary definitions. My goal is to clarify what these concepts traditionally mean, how they overlap, and how their meanings have changed in an era of heightened political tension, social media influence, and cultural conflict. Although these terms are used interchangeably in everyday conversation, patriotism and nationalism represent two very different ways of loving your country.
My pronouns are USA.
Patriotism is generally understood as a civil commitment to a nation's ideals, democracy, equality, justice, and shared moral responsibility. This form of national attachment is rooted in values rather than identity. It not only encourages individuals just to support a nation, but it critically evaluates and improves it. Patriotic commitment often includes constructive criticism, challenging a nation to live up to its ideals. It suggests that national loyalty emerges from shared values rather than a shared identity. Nationalism, by contrast, places emphasis on collective identity, cultural belonging, and national dominance. Nationalism asks people to identify with a specific cultural or historical narrative. Nationalism emphasizes competition, protection, and cultural preservation. It is noted national movements throughout history have thrived during periods of insecurity and polarization. Breaking it down into similarities and differences, we see that the two have very common similarities, including attachment to one's nation, motivated political involvement, and unifying groups during crisis. These similarities explain why these two terms are often used interchangeably in conversation today. However, their underlying motivations and implementations diverge. Differences include patriotism is based on values, nationalism is based on identity. Patriotism is inclusive, nationalism can be exclusive. Patriotism encourages criticism, nationalism frames criticism as disloyalty. These distinctions matter because this is how people understand belonging. Patriotism suggests anyone with democratic values can be part of the national community. Nationalism suggests that national membership is determined on your identity, who you are, and not what you stand for.
They're coming for us. Use your weapon.
Modern media environments have significantly created a divide between nationalism and patriotism. Social media platforms such as TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and others, Clash of Clans, Global Chat, spreads information at unprecedented speed and reaches a large audience of people across the globe. Relational and emotionally charged political content spreads far more quickly than carefully reasoned information, creating a digital ecosystem in which simplified narratives dominate. This environment can favor nationalist messaging because nationalism often relies on concise, dramatic appeals, emphasizing fear, urgency, and clear distinctions between in-groups and out-groups. Social media algorithms amplify this content because it generates the highest engagement, rewarding posts that evoke strong emotional responses over those that encourage nuanced dialogue. Patriotism, by contrast, often requires careful reflection, discussion, and adherence to shared civic principles, qualities which are most likely not going to get as much traction in a fast-moving, emotionally charged media environment. Digital media also fosters echo chambers, which users predominantly encounter information that reinforces their existing beliefs and group identities. This personalization of content often contributes to the diversity of interpretations of national loyalty. Some individuals gravitate more towards identity-based values, while others gravitate more towards the civil identity values. As Americans continue to curate their own media ecosystems, they also continue to curate their own individualistic ideas of national loyalty. As a result, this creates a growing divergence in how individuals understand the nation, its values, as well as the meaning to defend or serve it. Ultimately, the modern media environment doesn't merely just reflect the political and cultural divisions, it actively shapes them. Rewarding emotionally powerful content over oriented discussions, digital media has made it easier for nationalism to thrive, complicating the expressions of civic patriotism. This divergence underscores why Americans increasingly hold conflicting understandings of patriotism and nationalism, and why debates over these topics have become more polarized in society. Beyond media, current cultural conflicts have shaped how Americans understand patriotism and nationalism. Three major conflicts that illustrate this are the America First policy, immigration debates, and the events on January 6th. First off, the slogan, America First, gained prominence in the U.S. politics as a call to prioritize national interest, particularly in foreign policies and economic strategy. Framed in a patriotic perspective, this emphasizes the protection of American jobs, national security, and economic sovereignty. This advocates for policies prioritizing domestic well-being and safeguarding citizens' interests, reflecting a commitment to the nation's long-term stability and prosperity. However, looking more at a nationalist perspective, America First sounds very nationalist. This perspective can emphasize cultural dominance and national exceptionalism, and in practice supports withdrawal from multinational agreements, alliances, or organizations designed to promote international cooperation. This divide illustrates how political messages can be viewed in very different lenses and give very different results. When one prioritizes civil ideals, emphasizing democratic principles, inclusion, and shared responsibility, America First appears patriotic. When one prioritizes national identity, cultural belonging, and national dominance, the same message can be seen as nationalist. The slogan serves as a perfect example of how political rhetoric can straddle the border between patriotism and nationalism. This also highlights the contrast and highlights the dependent nature of national loyalty in American political discussion. Immigration remains one of the strongest and most contested political issues in the US today because it directly challenges the Americans' understanding as well as definition of national belonging. From a patriotic perspective, newcomers are seen as a potential participant in the democratic process. See supporting immigrants as an expression of national values, extended liberty, opportunity, and participation to those who embrace the nation's ideals. In this framework, national identity is inclusive and flexible, defined by shared values rather than birthright, ethnicity, or even cultural background. Conversely, a nationalist perspective interprets immigration as a potential threat to cultural cohesion, economic stability, and national security. Nationalism frames restrictive immigration policies as a way to protect the nation's identity. This asserts that loyalty and belonging to the nation is not just value-based, it's based on who you are rather than what you believe in. Newcomers are seen as outsiders or people that have not adopted the dominant culture. This debate exposes a deeper and fundamental tension in American society. Is the nation defined primarily by shared principles or by shared cultural and historical identity? Each policy decision reflects underlying assumptions about what constitutes membership to the nation and what obligations both newcomers as well as existing citizens have towards the country. This clash between frameworks helps explain why the immigration is such a heated topic in United States politics. The events at the Capitol on January 6, 2021 represent a striking illustration of the growing divide between patriotism and nationalism. From this perspective, participants believed they themselves were exercising their loyalty to the nation, acting in a way that they believed was in the best interest of the American people. From the perspective in a nationalist lens, loyalty is primarily about protecting a specific identity-defined vision of the nation. Lawmakers, political leaders, journalists, as well as many of the observers, interpret it as a direct assault on democratic institutions as well as a violation of the law. Opposite interpretation of the same event can be understood in radically different ways depending on one's conceptual framework of national loyalty. This event serves as a powerful example of how national crisis can magnify the tension between civic-based patriotism and identity-driven nationalism, illustrating the challenges in maintaining a shared understanding of loyalty, democracy, and national values in a deeply divided society. This helps explain why conversations about national loyalty, identity, and civic values often become very polarized very fast. When operating from different fundamental definitions of what it means to belong to one's country or to love one's country, it becomes very difficult to find common ground.
Go straight home and hop on the game, man.
In the United States today, political and cultural conflicts have made drawing a line between patriotism and nationalism blurred. While both involve attachment to one's nation, their deeper meanings reflect two competing visions of American identity. Modern media ecosystems amplify this divide by emphasizing emotionally driven content rather than civic dialogue. Recent cultural conflicts reveal that America's struggle is not merely political, but fundamentally about the identity of the nation. As the nation continues to change culturally, demographically, as well as politically, the meaning of patriotism, nationalism, and national belonging will continue to evolve as well. Understanding these distinctions does not eliminate tension, but it offers a clear framework for navigating it. Ultimately, one thing is for sure, people's definitions of national loyalty will continue to shape America's future, and the divide between patriotism and nationalism will remain a conflict. Being thoughtful about the information we consume and the viewpoints that we encounter is the key to strengthen dialogue, not fuel hostility. In my personal and humble opinion, I think South Park put it best.
America may have some problems, but it's our home, our team. And if you don't want to root for your team, then you should get the hell out of the stadium. Yeah. Go America. Go America. Go Broncos.
Hey. Hey. Teach me how to play it, hey.